What's the deal, y'all? This your man King Eric, the Media Assassin, coming at y'all with another video. Be sure to subscribe and another like button for me. So I want to talk about The Ultimate Warrior. And what made me want to do this video is I actually went back and watched Survivor Series 1990. And this was around the time where the Warrior was the heavyweight champion of the world. But what made me want to do this video was you had The Ultimate Warrior going against the Heenan family, and he was opening the card. Who was closing the show? Hulk Hogan. So this form of booking has been going on forever in the WWF, especially around the Vince McMahon period, where you had guys that were considered the main event, but the company didn't treat them like the main event. We've seen this many times. We've seen it with Savage and Hogan, where Savage had the belt, but the company still had Hogan as the guy. We've seen it with Warrior, and when we get to the video in a minute. We've seen it with CM Punk. CM Punk had a 2-year reign, but yet John Cena was closing the show. John Cena was still seen as the guy. So it don't mean nothing you're not seen as the guy. And going to The Ultimate Warrior, there was some problems here as I was watching some of that stuff from 1990. Number one, a lot of the guys that he defended the belt against, we talk about Perfect, Haku, Rick Rude, those are guys that Hogan already beaten. Hogan had already beaten half of these guys, so Warrior didn't really have any fresh matchups, so to speak. So if all these guys were fed to Hogan, what make the Warrior look more superior in terms of booking? Another thing too that kind of, hurt the Warrior's reign was those promos. Now we looking at it now and they look funny, but you really grew up in real time and looked at this and the fans were trying to get behind this, that shit was nothing but some crazy spaced out shit that make no sense, man. Like, we didn't know what this dude was talking about. At least with Hogan, we knew where we was going. We knew the topic. We knew he was going to do what he had to do. Let me tell you something, brother. Mean Gene, I'm going to go out there. I'm going to kick this guy out. We knew what he was going to do. With Warrior, this motherfucker was sitting there talking about rocket fuel and coal mine and running through thunderstorms and all this weird space shit. And we were like, what are you talking about? But another thing that was Achilles' heel to him is he couldn't work. He had the look. He had the face paint. But when it came to his matches, he couldn't go past 10 minutes, man. The only way he could go past 10 if somebody real good can carry him. We talk about Savage. We talk about Rude. You had Jake the Snake. He carried him in psychology levels, but Warrior couldn't go past 10. He was blown up. As soon as he ran to the ring, he was almost done. Number 4, and this was the main thing, was Hogan still had the spotlight. Warrior had the belt, but it felt like he was the man. It felt as though he was holding that shit until Hulk came back and took it. That's what it did. He felt like a placeholder. And see, that's what the WWF does, man, at that time. It made, guys had the belt, but it felt like they were placeholders. Like, you keeping that belt warm for their guy. Their other guy is doing some other things. You keeping the belt warm. And number 5, he was just difficult to work with. You could look at a lot of the shoots. A lot of guys just didn't like him. He wasn't a real white guy at all. Andre didn't like him. Jake Roberts didn't like him. Piper didn't like him. Brett didn't like him. The guy DiBiase didn't like him. There's a whole shoot tape out there burying the Ultimate Warrior. So he wasn't liked. But regardless of them circumstances, he still made his mark. Can't take that away from him at all. But you could go back on the network and watch some of those matches, and you could even watch a lot of his work. You'd be like, okay, this is why the company then put the spaceship and the rocket fuel behind them. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, man. Subscribe, hit the like button. Peace.